Battlefields are dangerous places, containing many novel and exciting ways to meet your end. Minefields, ambushes, full frontal assaults, enfilade fire. They can all ruin your day. So with all that going on, it's best not to then fall into a trap that you yourself have laid. And that, I reckon, could be exactly what Yevgeny Prigozhin has just done. This is a play in 3 acts. Let me explain. For months now, those of us with the luxury of watching from the sidelines have been trying to work out why Russia finds the city of Bakhmut, that blasted shellhole in the Donbass, quite so endearing. It's got some salt mines, but is this war about salt? It's got a major road junction in the middle, but you can walk for days in any direction and still be in the middle of nowhere. It's a one-horse town, and the horse left a long time ago. Seemingly though, for Russia, it is paradise on earth, a nirvana of garish boutique shops and vodka lakes. Why else would they have sacrificed, according to the White House, 20,000 dead since December? It doesn't make sense, does it? The short answer is no. But in a war that has been senseless from the get-go, we have to dig a little deeper if we are to get any idea of what might really be happening. Enter one Yevgeny Prigozhin. A St. Petersburg businessman and chancer made good with a thuggish past that included a hot dog stand and a 9-year prison stretch for assault and robbery. Despite these humble beginnings, Mr. P was a very hungry caterpillar, later to transform into a man with the ability to spot an opportunity for personal advancement at 50 paces, or at least the distance from one side of his restaurant to the table where he served Vladimir Putin during his first term as president. The relationship between the two men is complex, but essentially Prigozhin is Putin's brutish fixer and nothing more. Putin ordered Prigozhin to set up the Wagner Group around 2014 and essentially controls it from afar. Now, when I say afar, I don't just mean at the end of one of those ridiculously long tables. I mean the Wagner Group is less a single company and more a corporate chimera, a many-tentacled enterprise, part business, part army, all dodgy. Putin uses the Wagner Group as a cheap way to conduct foreign policy, offering security services and disinformation campaigns. In return, Putin expects Libya, Mali, Sudan, Venezuela, among others, to provide Russia diplomatic support in the UN and elsewhere, and resource concessions, such as logging rights. So the actual route from, say, a gold mine in the Central African Republic to Putin's bank account will probably never be revealed, but it's there, and a very nice villa in Sochi it allegedly pays for too. Putin may have made Prigozhin, but he also needs him if he is to remain in the lifestyle which he so clearly enjoys. Number one priority in that lifestyle being to actually stay alive. If, and it may be a big if, or an if that is only realised many years from now, but if one day Putin has to do a runner, either at a time of his choosing or at the barrel of an offer he can't refuse, he'll need somebody to look after him. So Wagner, to Putin, is both a cash cow and an insurance policy, a kind of Praetorian guard that can sell you a dodgy Rolex on the side.
Марта 22 года подразделения прибыли из Африки, полностью экипированные и сразу с колес вступили в бой.
So it suited the Wagner business model and Prigozhin, and therefore Putin, personally for the orchestra, as they're known, to take time out from duffing up a load of poorly armed African rebels and swoop in to save the day in the Donbass. Bakhmut would be the place where Wagner would rescue the MOD's reputation and accelerate Prigozhin and any regular military supporters, such as General Surovkin, up the greasy pole of Kremlin influence. But the Wagner Group are not soldiers, they're thugs with guns. They can't do armoured warfare with tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, so they wanted to stick to what they know, towns and cities, not the countryside. But the casualty rates in urban warfare eclipse that of general fighting. Wagner would pay for their choice. Plus, they needed Russia's regular army to cover their flanks. And Wagner and the regular army don't play nicely together. For Prigozhin, beyond his vital relationship with Putin, he has no power base in the Russian elite. He and his Wagner mercenaries are pretty much disliked and distrusted by the Russian population. It is fanciful saying he might try to challenge Putin for power, but he's not shy to challenge Sergei Shoigu, Russia's defense minister, for power. Prigozhin may not actually want to be defense minister, but he's happy to take chunks out of Shoigu so that his relative position is enhanced. Hence, we've seen a number of quite extraordinary rants from Prigozhin, blaming Shoigu and the Russian military establishment, as he sees it, for starving Wagner of ammunition and other support in the Bakhmut fight.
Shoigu! Gerasimov! Где боеприпасы?
The thing is, Prigozhin may have a point. Shoigu and his side of the camp could see in the Bakhmut cauldron an opportunity to get rid of an annoying troublemaker, a turbulent priest that would give Rasputin a run for his money when it comes to the dark arts. So they may indeed be withholding ammunition or only supporting Wagner's flanks with poorly trained units with low morale. We've seen this week how the units to the north and south of Bakhmut have been forced back by Ukraine, leaving Wagner in the centre, dangerously exposed. Now, this may not be the much anticipated Ukrainian counteroffensive, but they have been viewing Bakhmut in a very different light to either Prigozhin or Shoigu. So far, so what a stupid reason for Russia killing so many of its own people. But what about Ukraine? They've not taken anything like the same number of casualties, but Bakhmut has hurt Kyiv too. Why have they chosen to fight? Where Russia saw the battle as one of symbolism, refusing to go backwards even if it made tactical sense, Ukraine saw it as a chance to make the odds better, i.e. to make the relative strengths of the two sides more equal. They fought to bleed Russia as much as they could for as long as Moscow was willing to allow it. Now that's one reason to fight, but there's another. They've watched all this Kremlin power play as well, and know the poisonous relationships between the men on centre stage. Ukraine will see an opportunity here to not only defeat Wagner and reclaim territory, worthy aspirations in their own right, but also the chance to strike directly at Putin. Kill his golden child, Wagner, if not actually Prigozhin, and the business model collapses. The shine comes off the boss a little. The voices of dissent inside Moscow may just get a little louder. Prigozhin is called Putin's chef for his restaurants and lucrative Kremlin catering contracts. But by going all in on Bakhmut, a trap of his own choosing, he might just have bitten off more than he can chew, given himself indigestion, and be feeling right now just a little bit nauseous. Defence in Depth is a weekly video output by the Telegraph of the big defence stories. If you'd like a daily fix of content about the war in Ukraine, I'd suggest Ukraine the Latest, the Telegraph's podcast. For more defence stories, we've left links in the description below. And if you have a topic you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments. Please do visit our website for the latest updates, news and analysis, or failing that, you could buy a paper.